So I just checked my sobriety app. 690 days sober from alcohol. It's not hard to not buy alcohol because I live in a dry state, so all of the hard liquor is at state-run liquor stores, and I work a grave shift, so I'm not awake when they're open, so that contributes mostly to my sobriety. But I figured I would talk about how I got there and how I got sober. So I am a lifelong sufferer of insomnia. I drank to sleep. I figured out that my magic combination is Ambien, Seroquel, magnesium, and melatonin, and that's what knocks me on my ass. But for the longest time, I didn't have the Seroquel, and I would have Ambien, and then I would throw back vodka, which then turned into whiskey after my brother died. Shut up, brain, it's time to go to sleep. We have work in the morning. And for years, I just maintained with the Ambien and 2 shots of whatever hard liquor was on hand. And then that graduated to 4 shots. And then my dad died. And then in the same month, I also almost lost my daughter. She was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and it was really scary. And like a dumbass, I looked at life expectancy, like for type 1 diabetics, and I shut up, brain, it's time to go to sleep. We have work in the morning. So 2 shots became 4 shots, and 4 shots became 6 to 8. And at one point, because I was drinking to shut up my brain so that I could go to bed, get up and go to work, because I needed insurance to keep my child alive, so I can go to bed, get up, don't fuck up at work, go to sleep. It was just hit the points, and I would have milestones. And because I was doing the dangerous thing of Ambien and alcohol, I would have the Ambien side effects. So I would take a shot, I wouldn't go to bed, but I would spend 30 minutes doing chores, loading the dishwasher, running a load of laundry, sweeping up, gathering up the garbage. Like, my body was on autopilot. But it wasn't good, because obviously I was drinking and killing myself, and with the depression and the grief, I'm surprised my husband did not leave me, because it was bad. It was so bad. I had finally gotten a hold of my counselor through work, and I was like, here's the deal, am I fired? And she's like, no, you're not fired, but you're drinking to cope, and that's not good, and let's figure out what you need to do in order to sober up. And I was like, okay, but in the meantime, I had been drinking so much that if I'd have tried to stop cold turkey, there was danger. So yeah, don't do that. I had graduated to drinking almost an entire 5th of tequila a night. And work, of course, knew what was going on, because I'm usually extremely good at my job, but I was slurring my words very slow. They were wondering, what is going on? And I told them, and they were like, okay, let's figure out what you need to do. I put in for a leave of absence. I found out that short-term disability applies to sobriety and FMLA. So I was still going to get paid and still have insurance to get sober. So my child would be taken care of, and I was given time that I needed to sober up. So in a nutshell, this is what happened. I ended up going to the ER because I could not stop throwing up. And they took care of me for the night. They gave me some withdrawal meds, and they were like, just take these in place of the alcohol. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I had been drinking to sleep, so I took them in place of the alcohol, and then 2 hours later was still awake and panicking, and I thought, one drink won't hurt, and that one drink turned into finishing the bottle. Husband takes me back to the hospital. I spend 3 days in detox, and they found me a bed in an in-house rehab to try and help me sober up for reals, because I apparently wasn't going to be able to do it myself. I took a loan out of my 401k to pay the out-of-pocket maximum to the place. I ended up staying there for 21 days. They put me on new sleep medications and an antidepressant. And after being there for 21 days, I was discharged on a Sunday, which all of the liquor stores are closed. And then I called my doctor and I got naltrexone because I had heard about naltrexone not healing your brain, but making it so that if you did drink, you wouldn't get the dopamine hit. So I took that for 3 months. And yeah, that was basically the beginning of sobriety. And I haven't touched anything. My husband is very supportive. He doesn't let there be any alcohol in the house, and if I'm going somewhere, he doesn't want me to go where there's alcohol served. So, like, my siblings completely spaced my addiction, and they wanted to meet up at a brewery, and then they canceled on me. And I was like, okay. Yeah, I probably would have gotten the pale ale while I was there. So it's good that they canceled on me. If I want apple beer, there's plenty of non-alcoholic things. And after a year of no alcohol, I had a vape that distinctly tasted like apple liqueur. So like apple whiskey. And I didn't have the craving to go and buy alcohol. So at the moment, damn, there's no cravings. I have no need for it. There's not a need for the alcohol to be in my life. So I just don't take it anymore. So what I have learned with addiction is, what is the addiction doing for you and why? So I was drinking it to sleep, to cope with losing my brother, losing my dad, to sleep, almost losing my child because shut up brain, it's time to go to sleep. We have work in the morning because work is insurance and insurance is keeping my baby alive. So once you figure that out, the rest is just symptoms. I remember being in the rehab center, knowing that I didn't need it, but having mad cravings for tequila. And I couldn't even have passion fruit juice. Passion fruit's one of my favorite desserts. But I would have a passion fruit juice chaser after having tequila or having whiskey. And I couldn't have that for a while. And I can have that again because I have been sober long enough to disassociate passion fruit from alcohol. So it takes time and it works. You just have to keep at it.